Hundreds have gathered in celebration for the 4 women released from Gaza. They are Karina Arayev, Daniela Gilboa, Naama Levy, all now 20 years old, and Liri Elbag, now 19. All of them soldiers taken from a Gaza border outpost during the surprise October 7th terror attack. Just hours ago, they arrived back into IDF custody, part of the second hostage exchange since the ceasefire went into effect 1 week ago. Egyptian state TV confirming 70 Palestinian prisoners have also been released to Egypt at this hour. With us from Israel is Jotam Confino, a Middle East reporter for the Telegraph. Jotam, great to see you again. Good morning from New York. What details can you share on how today's hostage release unfolded? How did it all happen?
So it was a much bigger circus than last week. And basically because Hamas is looking to portray to the world how good condition these 4 female hostages are in. Last weekend was full of turmoil, lots of people trying to get close to the cars where the hostages were held. This time around, they had set a stage and they simply escorted the 4 hostages onto the stage and forced them to wave and to smile and to look as if everything was fine. And then they were taken by the Red Cross that drove them to the border crossing with Israel. There they underwent medical checks immediately, and then they were flown with a helicopter to an Israeli hospital where they're going to meet with their parents and, of course, stay in the next coming days to see if they are okay physically and, of course, mentally as well.
Yeah, we've seen the 4 women, but Israel says one of the hostages they expected to be released was not. So help us understand the significance of that, Jotam.
Yeah, so there was a lot of drama last night because according to the ceasefire agreement, Hamas was supposed to be releasing civilians first, not soldiers. So Israel was expecting 2 female civilians and 2 children, the 2 children held in Gaza. But they weren't on the list. Instead, they came up with the 4 Israeli soldiers. And this caused a lot of anger in Israel. They accepted, nevertheless, this exchange. But in retribution and in a way to punish Hamas, they've said, until you release the last civilians from Gaza, we will not allow Palestinians to cross from southern Gaza to northern Gaza.
Oh. And we have been seeing images of people celebrating in Israel. We've seen hundreds of people at Hostage Square. Tell us about the mood on the ground right now, at least compared to last week, Jotam.
I think there's a lot of joy, really, because these 4 female hostages have also become somewhat of a symbol inside Israel, mainly because they're very young and because we've seen horrendous footage from October the 7th, from when they were captured by Hamas in their pajamas. We've seen some footage that was actually released both by the Israeli army, but also with the consent of the families that showed them bloodied and being dragged into Gaza. Naama Levy has her photo of her coming into Gaza has circulated all around the world. So I think today was really a cause of celebration because many expected them to maybe not even be alive. But here they are crossing into Israel.
You mentioned the women will now get a medical evaluation. What happens next after that?
So they're supposed to stay at the hospital for a couple of days. First of all, they will, of course, undergo every possible medical check you can think of. They have nutritionists, they have nurses, they have psychologists to deal with any trauma that they might have to deal with immediately. And whenever the families and, of course, the hostages and the hospital all agree that they can go home, they'll go back to their homes, but it will be a very, very hard adjustment. We know that from other hostages who were in Gaza and who were released in the first ceasefire deal. They said that it's still taken them a lot of time to adjust. They still have nightmares. So you can only imagine what these hostages are feeling like after 477 days in Gaza.
Yeah, it truly may take a lifetime. Jotam Confino, we always appreciate your reporting live from Israel this morning. Thank you. Thanks for watching. Go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.